Morning, everybody. All right.
This meeting is being recorded.
So we're supposed to have a special guest speaker come join us. Daniel, are you on? Daniel Byron?
Yes, sir. I'm
All
here.
right, good. We got another Daniel, so he's not in here.
Okay.
All right, cool. Go ahead and put yourself on camera, brother.
There we go. Yep. I had to click all my buttons. Sorry, man.
All right, no worries, brother. All right. So most of the guys we have in here, it's a little light group for now. I think we just got a couple stragglers. Daniel is one of the top reps in the company with Leaf Filter. He's out of the Memphis office. Chris Matthews, you'll see here on the screen. He's one of my top students. He's from Milwaukee. He's been crushing it and getting called out, shouted out on the weekly calls a couple times since he's been joining the coaching service. The rest of these guys either own their own gutter company or they work for a gutter company. And then I'm letting in a guy, Anthony G. He's a former Leaf Filter rep. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and try to pay attention to the invite room, and we'll just go ahead and get started. So guys, really excited to bring Daniel on here. Daniel reached out to me because he was interested in possibly joining the team and seeing what that looked like. I think he was more interested as a coach, but I think he also has a growth mindset like everybody else in here in this room, and feels like there's probably some things he might be able to learn. I know Chris, when he was following me for about a year, he thought, maybe I can learn from Jeremy, maybe I can't, And then since he joined the group, his production has gone up quite a bit. So anyway, with that being said, I'm excited to bring Daniel on here. And really what I want to do is pick his brain. All right. Success leaves clues, guys. So I want to hear, what makes him successful. But before we get into that, first things first, if you have any questions that you want to know, that you want to ask of him, put it in the chat and I'll read it off to him. Okay. And then we'll just kind of basically do this like an interview, like a podcast. All right. So,
nice.
Daniel, thanks for reaching out, brother. I know we're both busy guys, and I appreciate you, hopping on. Seriously. So,
yes, sir.
All right. So, first of all, why don't you go ahead and give them a little bit of a background? Just let them know how long you've been with Leaf Filter for.
Well, I've been with Leaf Filter for 7 years. Our Memphis office has only been open for about 8.5.
Okay.
So I came just I guess I came in time to dodge all the startup, headaches that people have to deal with.
Yep.
So
awesome. And so you've been with Leaf Filter for 7 years. What's your sales background before Leaf Filter?
Very little.
Okay.
I did a little for about a year. I did heat and air.
Okay.
Sales in home, kind of the same deal, except it was more of a, hey, we got this going on, and it was more about the upsell.
Okay.
So, but really that, and I actually came up with kind of an idea because it was just me and the owner.
Mm-hmm.
A very small company, me, the owner. His wife kind of did the books and appointments and all that stuff, and I kind of came up with a way for myself, the company, him, to make more money. And he did it himself. He let me go, so I had to have a job.
Took your idea and ran with it. Nice.
So
blessing in disguise, huh?
Yeah, absolutely it was.
Yeah, because how much were you making selling HVAC?
$1,500 a week.
Yeah, and you made how much last year at Leaf Filter?
$317.
Sounds like he did you a favor.
Right. Yeah. Yes,
right.
He did.
Awesome. So $317K. Did you figure out exactly how many leads you ran last year?
Last year, I did not figure up exactly. It was sub 700.
Okay.
I want to say it was like 6 around that 680, 685 mark.
Okay. So I like to do this 317 divided by 680. We'll just go off of your numbers here. That's $466 per lead. So I like to tell my guys that try to shoot for a goal for $500 a lead. I think you probably even ran less leads than that, but that's still pretty damn solid, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I know, every office is different, every market is different. How do you feel about the Memphis market? You've been there 7 years. What are your thoughts on Memphis?
I grew up here. This is home to me.
Okay.
I've always lived just outside of Memphis. The median household income, last time I looked it up a couple of years ago in Memphis, is like 32,000. Now that's household. That's
I
not
was going to say
individual.
it's a pretty fairly low income
It is.
area. And
It
when
is.
I've driven through town there, usually I'm in Oklahoma City. So if I got to drive to
Mhm.
the East Coast for whatever reason, I usually take 40 on through there. And usually I end up having to stop for gas at that little Walmart there off of 40. And
Yep.
it's a little rough part of town a little bit.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah,
It's of course you can look at any statistic you want, and they all use different measurements as
sure.
the highest crime rate, worst city, but typically we're a top 10 for not so desirable places. But my
Yeah.
opinion of Memphis is, man, it's its home.
It's
This
still
is
the
this is
South,
where I'm at. It is.
right?
It is still
Yeah,
the South.
it's still
People
the
still have
South.
Southern
Yep,
hospitality and all those
exactly.
things.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got that going for you as well. And you seem like a pretty down to earth guy. You're confident,
Try to
but
be.
you're humble at the same time. And I think that was what attracted me to you. That you were humble, that you were hungry, and but yet you were still like hungry to go for the next level. All right, cool.
Absolutely.
So what is the next level for Daniel?
I have a goal of my long-term goal um, is I want to be debt-free in the next 3 years, and I mean debt-free all the way around, unless I buy something else, you
Yep,
know.
yep.
So, but I want to retire fully, not working at all unless I want to, uh, at 50. So
Okay,
that leaves me 8 years for that.
okay. So you're
Because
42 now.
I'll be 42 in October. Yep.
Okay, all right.
I have uh, a couple of um, things in the infants in their infancy, I guess you could say, for multiple streams of income that are going to be. I don't really think there's such thing as a passive income, but it's not going to require a lot of my time
Yeah,
to make that money.
yeah. I agree. I agree with you. People get sucked in that
So
trap. I've been sucked into it multiple times.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So but yeah, I've got my eye on a few things that would be secondary uh, income for
Okay.
me,
Okay.
which obviously is also working towards uh, that age 50
Right. So what?
goal.
You've got family as well, I presume.
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Married,
3 kids.
kids. How old are the kids?
Not married.
Okay.
Just went through a divorce actually. So,
Okay. All right.
but
Congratulations.
yeah, I was gonna say she did me a favor also. So,
There's a pattern there, guys. Things happen for us, not to us. It's one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins.
yeah,
But all right, so you got 3 kids. How old are the kids?
3 kids, 16-year-old twins, boy, girl,
Oh,
and a
nice,
9-year-old.
nice. Okay, so
Yeah,
that'll put you right about retirement age when that 9-year-old's 18. Then, huh?
that's yeah,
That's kind
yeah.
of is
That's the
that part of
goal.
it?
That's not
Okay.
a coincidence, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So one lesson to be learned if nobody, by the way, nobody's active in the chat. Nobody has any questions yet. So I guess this
Okay.
interview is going to be short. So we'll just go ahead and end it now, guys. All right, cool. Daniel, nice to have you on. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
man.
I'm just fucking with you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Where
Hey,
is
whatever.
everybody? No, I'm trying to get people stirred up. Let's ask some questions. guys, you got somebody that is one of the top performers in the company sitting in front of you where you can ask any question you want and nobody has any questions. I mean,
Let me,
I know I'm
let,
doing a great job facilitating this interview,
you're doing an excellent job, Jeremy. Let me just say this.
Okay.
When I go, my goal when I leave the house, and it's not even a goal for me anymore. It's more like this is just what's going to happen. Uh, when I leave the house, I have no doubt I'm going to make $1,000 that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my average over the last, gosh, dog it. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Let me
Getting a
get this
call
over here. Yeah, I don't even know how
and
to get rid
just
of it.
hit it off when
Here
you
we go.
go to do not disturb when you're done with it when it's gone.
Oh,
That way you
okay.
don't get interrupted.
No, sorry.
No worries.
My goal, and like I said, it's not even a goal anymore. It's $1,000 a day. I know that's going to happen.
Yep.
I'm a big believer in the law of attraction.
Nice.
Speaking things into existence,
Yep.
knowing what I'm going to do that day. Over the last 4 years, you and I talked about this. I've averaged $330,000 a year over the last 4 years. When I go to a customer's house, uh, and this is with anything. I mean, I've picked up side jobs from customers. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is when the customer's talking, let them talk. Keep talking. Keep talking, because they will show their hand. They will show their hand. Um, and when they do, when I know that customer's buying, and this is just me, when do I get called out on the lead filter call every Monday morning as no, sure don't.
Nope.
Sure don't. Um, look at my paycheck though. That's what
Right.
I'm measuring.
Yep.
I finished third in the country about 3 years ago. And the guy that finished ahead of me beat me by $30,000 in net revenue. He made $285,000 that year. And I looked at the president of our company and I said, "Man, he beat me by 30,000, and my volume per issued lead was 3,500. So basically, he beat me by 8 leads." He said, "Yeah, but how much money did you make?" I
Mm-hmm.
said, I said 415. He said, "Let's be honest, that's really the number that matters, isn't it?"
Exactly. And I'm glad that he said that to you. However, I wish the company would tout that more on the calls. Like I wish that they would I wish there was a way. But you know what? You got to celebrate what you got to celebrate. And
Yeah,
obviously the
absolutely.
more volume you bring in, the more money you'll make in general. But I was exactly like you. I told these guys when they first got started that like my net volume per issue last year was like 3,400. It wasn't like anything to write home about, right? We had guys in our office doing 4,500, right? But my income was higher than theirs, and it's not
Right.
because I refused to sell cost jobs. It's just that they ran, they maximized their leads the way that the company wanted. But for me, it was more about protecting my paycheck. So if I sold a partial at 24% versus a full job at par, that was what I was going for. That was just
Yeah.
kind of my mindset, was protecting the paycheck. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. And just to go back on what you said, because first of all, I love that you talked about your mindset when you leave for the day. When you said, I know that I'm going to make $1,000 a day, that's why I factor in the commission average per lead issued. So when I took 317K, divided by, 680 leads and came up with 466 or whatever the number was, just in general, if you only had two leads, you know that you're going to probably make about $920 something, which is close to $1,000. you got 3 leads, you know you're going to make about 12, 13, 14, $1,500. Like that's just an average. And so when you go home at the end of the day, you ran 3 leads, you made 12, $1,300, you're like, average day. And
Right.
and that identity that you get that through raising your standards. And a lot of guys are like, their standard is making $500 a day.
I was like that when I started too. I
Exactly.
wanted to
was
be
too.
$500 a day,
Yep.
you know. And I remember to this day, the first time I sold a job, I thought I did the math wrong on it.
Mm-hmm.
I called my supervisor and I was like, can I ask you a question? This was right after the lead, right after I
Yep.
sold my first lead. I didn't sell anything for like 4 days. My
Mm.
first 4 days starting. I called him the 4th day and I said, "Hey, please don't fire me. Like, I promise I can do this." And he was like, "No, man, everybody starts differently. Some people come out hot right out of the gate. Some people,
Yep.
it takes them a while to get started." I
Yep.
said, "I can do this." And he said, "Don't worry." Next day I went out, sold a job. And you probably remember the days of 10 pars 10% plus half
Yep.
the overage.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I sold it at $1,000 over par at like $6,000. So that's 500 is half, and then par is 10%, so that's another 5. And I said, "Did I just?" He said, "Make $1,000?" Yeah, you did.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh shit, are you serious?"
Mm-hmm.
I'd never experienced anything like that.
Yeah,
7
because
years ago. And then
you just came from making $1,500 a week.
a week.
Yeah,
Right.
and now you're making almost that much in one sale.
Yeah, in an hour and a half.
Yeah, that does
And
something for your identity, because
then,
some people are going to
yeah.
reject that. I'm sorry, I'm going to let you continue your story because
No,
I
go
like
ahead.
it, but I'm just using this as a pause for a lesson before I forget. You know that this is where identity comes in, because a lot of people will think that, oh, like they don't deserve it, and then they'll subconsciously self-sabotage. And
Right.
and like, no, I deserve this. I did, I followed those steps. I did the process. It's a great product, great company. I'm a great rep. Anyways, all right, continue.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I went to the next lead and I did it again.
Mm.
Same thing. Made another $1,000.
Yep.
And I called my wife at the time and I was like, I make $2,000 a day. She said, "Huh?" And that
Yep.
was it. And then at that point, uh, that gave me confidence. I knew I could do it. And now it's not even a question. I'm going to
Right.
be it's almost, it's not I hope to make $1,000 a day. I know I'm going to. It's not
Yep.
even. It
Yep.
doesn't. It's just where I'm at mentally.
Yeah.
And for the guys that are own their own gutter business,
Yep.
working for Leaf Filter, all those things. I'm not scared of the price.
Yep.
Don't be scared of your price. And when I say, or when I said earlier, let them talk because they'll show their hand.
Yep.
They'll show their hand. I tell people that if I can make money and that customer feels like they got a good deal, then it doesn't matter what I sold it to them for.
That's all
If
that
I
matters.
if I go out there and I'm just going to be real candid, man. If they're willing to buy this, whatever it is, gutters, leaf filter, a car, whatever, if they're willing to buy it, let them buy it.
Yeah. It's their
Let them
money.
buy it, man. It's
Yep.
their money. Let them
Yep.
buy it. And if that means you're making a 24% commission, if you're working at Leaf Filter, or or you got your own gutter business and your typical price is $10-11 a foot, man, start that thing at $17. Let's just see what happens.
See what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly. I agree.
And they're willing
100%.
to buy it. If they're willing to buy it at 15, then let them buy it at 15. We call it in our office chopping their head off.
Yep.
Well,
Yep. Exactly.
if they're willing to buy it, let them buy it.
Yep,
What
exactly.
was that? What was that question that popped up there?
Chris asked, where and how in the sit do you price condition?
Okay, so for me, um, is Chris at Leaf Filter?
Chris
Yeah.
is at Leaf Filter. He's
Okay.
Milwaukee. Yep, one of the
Okay.
top reps there.
Okay. So for me, I don't know how long you've been there, Chris, but
About
probably
about a year. He was a
okay.
former installer for a little bit, got in sales,
Okay.
and he's on
Okay.
pace to make over 200K this year, probably.
Okay. Well, good, man. Happy for you. But for me, that pitch since you started to where you are now, it has morphed naturally into your personality. Okay. It's going to do that even more. Um, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody I told you this. I don't even use the pitch book
Mm.
anymore. I don't
Is
even
it
use the pitch
because
book.
you've done it so many times that now you're just using it almost like a natural conversation because you know what's coming?
I don't even take it in the house
Okay.
anymore. I take, the leave behind.
Yeah.
And I don't want you, Chris, to create a bad habit or anything. Don't,
Yeah.
give yourself this time.
Yep. There's a
But
difference
that,
between 7 years and 1 year for one.
right,
Right.
right. So I take in the leave behind pamphlet. I open it to the first page. I go to, our company story a little bit. I just say, we're made in America. I don't know if that's a big deal to you, but that never hurts, right? Um, I tell them about kind of the company process. I hit two or three of the company ratings, um, the BBB, Angie's List. We've been on the Today Show, and we're fully insured at every location. And I push it to the side. We're done with that. I'll close the book back up and I put it up. And then I'll go through, and really in the Memphis market, I don't know how it is where you live. You really only got three options in the Memphis market. And that's what I tell them. That you've got three options: a local guy, leaf filter, leaf guard. That's it. That's all you got. And I'll say, with all these number one ratings, we were also rated number one for price. But that doesn't mean we're the cheapest, because we're not. And I look them straight in the face and I tell them we're not the cheapest. And I also tell them we're not the most expensive. And I try to make my pitch more like a conversation, the entire thing. Because man, for me, as my uh uh as I've done this thousands of times at this point, you pull out that pitch book, everybody goes,
Yep.
you just
Their eyes gotta just boom.
yep, you deflated the room.
Yep.
So when I pull out a little pamphlet that's got three pieces of paper in it, for me, um, I'm sliding it over to them and opening it up for them. Then while they're listening, they can thumb through it and they feel like they're doing something while I'm talking and they're listening. If you still have the pitch book, I will encourage you to go in, download all the pictures, use a tablet,
iPad. I know a few guys that are starting to do that. Yep.
because I went from book to tablet to now I don't do anything. But in the price conditioning, I mean, I go through the local guys at, about what they would probably charge. And I tell them I can't beat their price 100%. And I show them why. All of this stuff sits flat, it piles up on top, stuff still goes through the little holes and all that. And I say, so if we're trying to do something to, protect the home here. Well, if you still got to go up there and clean off that, what did you accomplish by getting this? And they'll be like, nothing. I say, okay. And if they're just getting it off the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot, just like you would, that means it doesn't have a guarantee either. And they're just like, yeah. I say, okay, so only thing you really did here is spend money. And they're like, yeah. I'll say, does it work? If you still got to get on a ladder, does it work? No, it doesn't. And then I go to Leaf Guard, which we all know is outrageously priced, right? So that one's easy. I have pictures in my phone of Leaf Guard that we have taken out of the Memphis office. And Chris, I can shoot the pictures I have to you, or whatever. so that you can say, hey, look, and I tell them, I don't run my competition in the ground. That's one thing I don't do, because that's going to discredit me.
Yep.
I get that gutter sample. I put that DIY local guy protection on there, and I say exactly what they can see. They just didn't know they could see it. It sits flat, so stuff's going to pile up. Oh yeah, well, that makes sense. The hole's big enough for something to go through it. So guess what? Something's going to go through it. So that means after you clean it off, you got to take it off, and you still got to clean it out. And then I do the same thing with the leaf guard, because it's got the big hole that runs all the way across the front. And I just say, hey, look, we just said if it's got a hole big enough for something to go in it, something's going to go in it. So what's right here? A hole. And I take my business card and I throw it in there, and I say, can you stop that leaf from going in there? You cannot. Then I show them the pictures. And I go through their pricing, and I tell them, look, I can't beat this $1,500 guy, but I'm not this $15,000 guy. And then I show them the leaf filter. The most popular drink size at McDonald's ordered is a medium. It's for a reason. Guess where McDonald's largest profit margin is?
And
In their medium. In their medium.
Medium.
In their medium
Okay.
soda. Why? Because people order it more. Small's not big enough. Large is excess. Oh, that's too much. I don't need all that.
First of all, Daniel, that leads me to a question. But before I do that, I want to point out a few things that I like what you did there. First of all, did everybody notice his tonality? Like, I want you guys, if you didn't notice it, I want you to go back and listen to this over and over again, because I just let him kind of flow so he could kind of get into his rhythm. But did you hear how like calm he was? Did you hear how he wasn't speaking fast? Did you hear how everything kind of ended on a downward inflection instead of an upward inflection? He sounded very confident. He sounded very certain. He sounded very matter of fact. And he also didn't just cram it down their throats. He asked some questions that kind of got into them. And, that kind of leads me to something I was going to say. Like, one of the things when we're talking about American made, what I'll do, Daniel, hopefully you'll get some value out of this, is I use a lot of questions, because I studied NEPQ with Jeremy Miner. That's all based around questions. So instead of saying, hey, our product's made in the United States, I don't know if that's important to you, I would say, hey, what are the qualities and traits that you guys are looking for whenever you've hired, home improvement people or contractors come in your home before in the past? This, and this. So I'm going to focus on those things in the pitch, but then I'm going to ask them, okay, is there anything else that's important to you? And I say, what about made in America? Is that important to you? And then I'll do that through a conversation. So when you said your pitch is a conversation, I ask a lot of questions and then get them to answer. And then I'll kind of play into their answer and weave my pitch in between their answers to make it more conversational.
Yep.
So I like that. There was a couple other questions I had before I let Chris go on with his question. And guys, if Chris is the only one answering asking the questions, you guys are missing the boat. You're missing a huge opportunity here. So I've got a question about personal development. What do you do, if anything, or what have you done over the last 7 years? What kind of books have you read that have made an impact on you on how you sell? Have you, invested in coaching? Have you invested in courses? Have you done anything? Or is this stuff just kind of coming naturally to you and listening to free stuff like YouTube videos and stuff?
When I first started, I also have an addictive personality. When I like something, I am all the way until I figure it out. Please don't fire me. I know I can do this.
Yep.
Right. I have to have the TV on or some sort of noise to go to sleep.
Yep.
instead of watching TV, I turn on YouTube and listen to a sales training or a this or a that, and I would always I'd always make sure it was a long one. That way I had plenty of time to get to sleep before it
Yep.
cut off.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I'm
I
laughing
immersed.
because I've
Yeah.
done this as well in the past. So like everything you're saying, it's the same thing Chris has done, you know. And so I find that little common thread right there, that's a golden nugget, and success leaves clues, and that's a clue to people. But go ahead. You were talking
Yeah.
about you totally immerse yourself. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I totally immerse myself in it. A really good book, not sales related, life related.
Okay.
Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. I've heard of that lately.
Green Lights.
Okay. Why do you recommend that book?
My boss let me go at my previous job. Green light.
Yep.
That was a green light. Life gave me a green light.
Yep.
I didn't think so at the time, obviously.
Yep.
But I got a green light. That was the next door. That was the next door that was open.
Mm-hmm.
And it just talks about a lot of things. Him personally, professionally, just a very good I used to get not upset. I used to tease the ops manager at our office, like, man, quit hiring people. They're gonna take my leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna take my appointments. We hired a 70-year-old man. Oh, he's been in sales the whole time. Second week he was there, we had an in-person meeting. I learned something from him that I still use to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my clothes. So you can always learn from somebody.
Right.
You can learn from the new guy. You can learn from the old guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. I just
Okay.
never stop trying to, just because that new guy and he's over there talking and you're like, he's asking all the new guy questions in the
Mm-hmm.
meeting, or that's okay.
Yep.
Let him ask, because you were that guy too, for one.
Yep.
And he may come up to you and ask you a question that you hadn't thought about yet.
I love
Because
it.
it's happened. Because
Yep.
it's happened. It's
Yep.
happened to me multiple times.
So before I go on to Chris, since you mentioned it, what's the one thing that he said that you still use in your clothes every day?
uh, I get the customer to guess.
Ah, okay. Guessing the price.
Guess the price. All right,
Okay.
Mr. and Miss Smith. I'm going to write this price down, but before I show it to you, I want you to take a guess and you take a guess, and whoever gets the closest gets to make the other one pay for it. And they laugh because it's always the same bank account,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that all comes out of the same pot. Or I'll say, whoever guesses the closest gets to make the other one make dinner.
Yep.
And then one of them always says, well, you don't want me making dinner,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it lightens the mood. And I
Yep.
remind them, remember, we're more than 1,500, but we're less than 15,000.
Yep.
Let's go back to my McDonald's. What's the most popular?
Yeah.
The medium.
Right.
Where's the medium? Right in the middle.
7,500, 8,500, something like that.
Where do you think I'm rolling out?
Yeah.
Where do you think I'm rolling out?
Yeah, I'm guessing a little bit above that, but what do you think? What do
So
you think, guys?
In between the large and the medium?
yeah, if they guess that. So let's say I have my rollout right here. Let's say my rollout is $8,000. Well, what if they guess $8,000? What if they guess 7? Let's say they come out at 7. I've got discounts coming. I'm not rolling
Mhm.
out 8.
Right.
I'm rolling out 88 now.
Okay. But you wrote it down, so did they ask to see it?
sometimes I'll write it down
Okay.
because some customers will say, you got to write it down first. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will. I'll write it down. And hey, they but again, if they're going to talk, I let them talk.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
is a tough one though. One of the top guys in the top guy in my office does this habitually, and I have tried it, and I can almost never get them to give me a number. Yet he gets them to give them, and I've shadowed him, and I've seen him get them to give a guess.
I'm
number,
always,
but
I'm that's
pulling
okay.
teeth,
All right.
man.
Okay. I'm always friends with my customers. When I go through, so that's one. Okay. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but situationally, um, I'm not a, I like to make people laugh. I'll say that.
Right.
Okay. I like to make people laugh. That's fun to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So, and I like to say I'm fairly decent at making people laugh. So if I can get the customer laughing, then they're more likely to participate in my little games that I want to play.
100%.
Right.
Yep. 100%.
So now in doing that, you not getting them to guess, well, tell them this. Say, I'm going to write it down, but before I show it to you, I want you to guess. And if you don't guess, I'm not showing it to you. I'll leave. You laughed. See, you just laughed because you knew I wasn't serious.
Yeah.
But it's going to make you. But you're more likely to participate now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's one. And there's. Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, you go finish up what you're saying. Go ahead.
There's another strategy. My brother used to work here. Wasn't for him, but he had a good strategy at the end. Except he started it at the beginning. Before you know anything or whatever it is that you know now, he would tear off a piece of paper or give him his card or whatever. He'd say, write your price down, what you think this is going to be. And then at the end, before he showed them the price, he would say, now, you already have a price on there of what you thought it was going to be before we ever started. But now that you know everything, basically everything that I know about leaf filter, now what do you think the price is? And he didn't say, you got to understand how he's wording it, where he's putting the emphasis on the words, because that matter.
Yep.
Now, where do you think it's going to be?
Doing a 3-tier bump before you even roll out a price.
Before you even roll out a price,
Exactly.
except they're 3-tier bumping this way.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. And that's that goes.
That price is going to be higher than it was to start with.
Yep. 100%. And one of the things that I've coached my guys on that I got from Adam Curry, who's that 4,500 rep, 4,500 net volume per issue rep. He made 300 grand the year before. And one of his things he would say is like if he got a little bit of pressure in the beginning of an appointment to kind of release what the price was, he would say something to the effect of, hey, our average sale here in Oklahoma, or my average sale here in Oklahoma, is about 5 to 9K, just to give you an idea. And I like doing that because that kind of sets the stage for about what they're going to expect. So if they were expecting a couple $100 and they're not, then at that point, I'll start to have that conversation and do a 3-tier price bump. What you were saying, hey, like what your brother did, hey, how much before I got here, how much were you really hoping this was going to be? And get them to open up about it. Maybe, see if they're open to the idea of considering, okay, this is what you would get if you paid that price. This is what you would get if you paid a little bit more. And going back to what you said in your closing, when you're like, hey, having a conversation of, do you feel like this is going to get you the results? Do you feel like this is going to keep the leaves and debris from getting out? If it doesn't, and you spent $1,000, $2,000, whatever they said that they thought that this would cost, if you spent $2 or $3 grand and a couple years later, it didn't keep the leaves and debris up, how would you feel about your decision to invest $2 or $3 grand into this type of product? And I get them to say, oh, it was a waste of money. Once they say that, I know that they're hooked. Okay, so you have to ask yourself what's more important to you. I'm a consumer. you're a consumer. We buy stuff every single day, but every time I make a decision on buying stuff, especially when it's a higher end product, I always have to ask myself, I always have to make this decision. What's more important to me right now? Is it that I pay what I can afford, or is it to actually get the result that I want? And sometimes it's just to pay a lower price, but if it's something that really truly matters to me and I only want to do it one time, I always end up having to pay more than what I was kind of hoping for, because it's more important to me to get the result that I'm after rather than paying a lower price.
Right. Also, that customer that says, I got to do something, something's got to be done, hold them to it.
Yes.
Hold them to it every single time. And I always go through and I ask part of our sales pitch, I always ask them, do you like the product? Yes. You like the way it works, what it's made of, all those things? Yes. The company, the guarantee, the made in America, no money up front, all those things. Yes, 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 yes. They like everything. Okay. Other than the price, is there any reason why you would not let us go ahead and get started? And when they say, well, I don't know what the price is, I say, okay, look, let me rephrase it. If you're satisfied with everything else, is price our only hurdle? Is that the only thing we have left? You're satisfied with all the other things? Yes. Okay. Then when they get there and they get that, I just don't think I'm going to do anything, and you've already hit them with an appointment price, say, we had one of our guys do this. He go, did you lie to me?
I love that.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Did you lie to me? What do you mean? Well, you told me earlier that the only thing standing between us was price. Price is the only thing standing between us, and you need it, which is why you made the call. You said you liked it because I asked you if you liked it, or liked the product and the guarantee and all that, and you said you liked it. Now, if price was the only reason why we would or would not move forward, you said yes. So if price is the only reason, then why would you elect to call back later and pay $2,000 more on something that you need, you like, you can afford, and at some point you just said yourself you're going to have to do it anyway. So why wouldn't you go ahead and do it? I said that to a customer once. His wife, I was sitting here, he's here, wife is there. I explained it to him just like that, and the wife goes, like, now what are you going to say? She goes, and he said, okay, you're right, let's do it.
Yep. Did you say that the customer, the wife and the husband, were sitting on your left-hand side? Is that right?
They were both sitting to my left.
Don't
do the ping pong. Don't do that.
Yep. Now,
Don't do that.
Have you ever heard anything about having them on your left side versus your right side?
I don't think so.
So what I've heard from a lady who was a doctor, and she worked in like nursing homes where people were like senile and going crazy or whatever. They would always they would intentionally position the patient where when the nurse or the doctor came in, they were always on the patient's right hand side. And there was some sort of psychology study that basically said if they're on your right, they're friends versus if they're on your left. So just throwing that out there. They happen to be on your left hand side. You were on their right hand side, so you were their friend. Just throwing that out there. Might be something of value too. Because would, when a customer sits down, I always make up some excuse to direct them to where I say, hey guys, I'm right-handed, so I don't want to be like riding over you. So if you'll come over here and sit on my left-hand side, so that way you can see everything I'm doing, so I'm not like blocking your view. I just use a justification, just like when we justify our discounts, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Now pause for just a minute because I know we're running out of time. Chris, you raised your hand earlier, but then you also chimed in, and then I think Daniel's got a question as well. So Chris, did you get your question answered earlier, or because I know you chimed in earlier?
Well, I see Daniel's question, and I like that one. My question probably only pertains more to me in this group than the rest, so I'll ask it later.
I don't want to. I want to hear the question, so go ahead and just spit it out.
My question is, I've noticed that you got tattoos. I've got sleeves on both arms. I've experimented with long sleeves and short sleeves, and I don't know if it's a mental block by myself or if there's something to it, but I do better when I cover up my tattoos. Have you ever thought about that? Has that ever been a concern for you? I see you in short sleeves and a leaf filter shirt, so I'm guessing, like that's not a thing for you, but it's been a thing for me, but I'm 50-50 on whether it's in my own head or it's a real thing.
Mm, mm, I would say it might just be in your head. The people that ask about my tattoos are typically old ladies.
Okay.
What do you have? Let me see your tattoos. Or me, so my dad passed away a while ago. I have his old car. So you'll get guys, oh, what car is that? Is that a Dodge? Yeah, that's it. And then uh,
Right.
but, oh, what are those? I got them. I don't have them all the way down. That is by design. Um, but, uh, it's really not a problem here. I mean, for me, man, it's 2024. It's not 1970 and the only people that had tattoos were sailors and bikers.
Right.
It's not the world we live in. But again, and I'm in the Bible Belt. I mean, we're in the Bible Belt. We're in the South, man.
True.
There's
Yep.
a church. There's a church within. You go 5 miles, you'll find another one. If you just, and sometimes several. So, it's not really a issue. Not for me.
Chris, it might just be the combination of the cigarette smell and the tattoos.
I will say this: I do not smoke cigarettes. I used to.
I've been trying to get Chris to quit for like 3 months. I did a real intense intervention on him. I'm trying to get him to quit, so I just keep jabbing him a little bit. But that's probably just
That's okay.
That's
That's all
making
right.
his resiliency. I was going to say I want to ask a question, but I want to get to Daniel's. My question is going to be on fitness. All right. I noticed you look like you're in pretty good shape. This morning when I texted you, 5 o'clock in the morning, we were both on our way to the gym. So talk about that for everybody because I've been preaching that for the last month to these people.
Yeah. So when you said personal development earlier, I meant to hit on that. So I do apologize because I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu between 2 to 4 times a week, depending on if I can get off, if I don't have leads that evening. I'm also trying to start going to the gym, like actual, lifted weights 2 or 3 times. So that would put me at, somewhere between 5 and 6 days a week. I try to take care of myself. Physically, I want to look good. I want to, and this is just me. I'm going to wear clothes that are going to, and this may sound vain, and some of you guys are probably going to laugh. I want to wear clothes that bring out my best features.
Right. I don't think
I don't wear short sleeves that are baggy on my arms.
Right.
I don't have big arms, but
Right.
they look better in a sleeveless type. So that I appear to be in charge and in shape. Deion Sanders, one of my favorite athletes. Look good, feel good, play good, pay good.
Fucking love that. I love that.
So,
all right, Daniel.
My mom always said that: look good, feel good, do good.
Yeah.
I love the feel good, play good, get paid good. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Good job.
Yeah.
Daniel, let's
Yes, sir.
let's go with I'll let you ask your question. He says, what are some of your strategy for one of your one leg customers? So go ahead.
Where is she? Where is he? Can we call? I've had to FaceTime before. I had an elderly couple that wasn't buying anything without the daughter. I said, where's she at? Can we call her?
Oh, she's at work.
Okay, can we not call her?
Oh, I don't want to bother her at work. I'll talk to her sometime tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. What time does she get off work this afternoon?
Oh, she's a nurse, so probably, not until like 11 o'clock tonight. She works 12-hour shifts.
Okay. What I'll do is, when's the next day she's off?
It's usually like 3 on, 4 off. So either tomorrow or third or Wednesday, I'm not sure, will be our next off day. For the next couple of days, I'll be able to talk to her.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about we go through everything? Now, is this something you have to discuss with her?
I don't have anybody else, to talk to. I'd feel much more comfortable, getting her opinion.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to ask this, and I don't mean it the way it's going to come out. How's she going to have an opinion on something that she doesn't know what it is?
Ooh, I like that. Well, you told me everything. I can tell her,
Okay.
about the stuff.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm retired now.
Okay. What did you do? You said mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said? Okay. Um, Something's wrong with my car. Okay. Do you think you're going to be better at telling me what's wrong with my car, or do you think you should tell my wife and let her tell me?
I
Who's
like
going to
that.
give the better explanation?
I will.
Of course. So I need to hear it from you. So how about this? How about I'm going to mark you down as a reset. Okay. And this is when we could do resets. I know things have changed in the last
Right.
3 or 4 years, right? I mean, how about this? Let's go through everything. And you said your wife gets home what? She works 11 to 11?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, what time do y'all go to bed?
Well, I'm in bed by 9. She crawls in bed when she gets home.
Okay. And when do you work?
I'm retired now.
Oh, that's
So,
right. You're retired now. Okay. So tomorrow morning should be good, huh?
I'll talk to her in the morning over breakfast. Yep.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about we go through what we can right now, and I can be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. How's that?
Okay. Let's do that.
All right. And then I call my boss and I say I need off at 9 a.m. tomorrow. This is going to be a rehash.
Right.
I
So,
go in.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, I go in, and we can talk about discounts later.
Okay.
Now,
So
at our office, I'm sorry, Jeremy, I keep interrupting you. Sorry, I think
right.
we got the same idea here.
Yeah.
In my office, I can do that. We have enough guys. I'm not running 6 leads a day every day, so I mean, we have the availability that I can say, hey, I need off tomorrow at 9 so I can go back, or I'll say, hey, how about I measure this? Right? I'll measure this. I'll be back at 9 a.m. We'll talk in the morning.
I like that approach.
That way,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving them with price, because let's be honest, you leave that guy with a price and then he talks to his wife about 10 grand. See ya. You ain't even coming back in the morning.
Right.
Right.
Let me go ahead and get my measurements done, and I'll be back at 9 a.m. We'll sit down and talk and see if we can fix you up. I say that whether I'm coming back, whether I'm pitching right then. That's what I always say. Let me get my stuff together. I'll get everything figured. I'll grab my samples. We'll come in, sit down, and we'll see if we can fix you up, assuming the
Yep.
sale.
Off
And
the
I've
wall
had great
question
success
for you.
on the phone too. That does work a lot of the time, but I never used to push that until recently. Since started coaching, I did one last week where we called the husband up and he didn't answer. But as I was packing up, he called back. I got to give an elevator pitch over the phone and he agreed. And so we
Yeah,
signed.
and I've done that too. I've done that.
Definitely
So
good at.
follow-up question for you, Daniel. What about your 3 bids? How do you approach people when they talk to you about wanting to get 3 bids, whether they say it in the beginning of the pitch or at the end?
Okay, well, let me get my measurements here. It's going to take me about 15 minutes. I'll go back to my Jeep. I'll get everything figured up. I'll grab my samples. I'll come in and see if we can't fix you up. Oh, well, I'm going to get 3 bids. Don't worry about it. All right, and then you can call those guys back. You won't need them.
I love that line. You can call those guys back. You won't need them.
You won't need them. I'm not, and I don't say it in an arrogant way. I say it in a playful way, but they also know I'm serious. Oh, well, I'm not. Then their answer is, oh, well, I'm not buying anything today. Yeah, you are. Depending on the guy, right? You got to
Okay,
read the room. Okay. You got to be careful.
Okay.
And I'll say, yeah, you are. That's what you called me out here for.
Yeah.
I
Why
did
would
that
you not buy it
exact
today?
same thing last week. Yep. You didn't call me out here to not fix your water problems.
Right.
How'd it work? How'd it work for you, Chris?
It was great, and he can't. I gave him another $300 off his order to let me watch him cancel his leaf guard.
Oh, let's go. I love it. I love it. We didn't, normally we start these calls off, but I wanted to hit it right away since you were here, Daniel. One of the things we do is we celebrate, victories and wins from Friday, Saturday, but we do it every day. And so that was something we didn't get to do. You sounded like you had something to say, and we're about to wrap up. We got less than 3 minutes left.
No, man. You guys can reach out to Jeremy. I mean, if you want a little trinket, you got a question, ask Jeremy. I'm sure he can answer. But I mean, I tell it, I'm going to make as much money as possible this year, and I want all you guys to make more than me. That's the way I've been. That's the way I'm at my office.
If
I
a
tell all
lead
those guys.
If a lead cancels on you, like before you get there, you have a 1 o'clock, it turns black. Well, they don't turn black anymore, but you realize it canceled. You still go run it?
Depends on how far away I am. I'm not driving an hour to get there. I ain't doing that.
15 minutes away, looks like a decent lead. You can go to lunch or you can go knock that door and pretend like you didn't see it cancel.
Go do it.
Yeah.
It's a free
Yeah,
shot.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's a free shot.
Yeah. There's no
'Cause I can
reason
call-
not to.
Correct. What if you get there and they're not there? Who cares? Then turn around and go to lunch.
Right. Exactly. And you could still call them on the phone and just, I used to say, hey,
Be like,
I saw.
yep, same
Yep,
thing.
exactly. And
Hey,
again, you're just calling them
Mhm.
and just saying, hey, just to help, just to see if that would even help you, and you're doing it for their favor. So
We've got a guy that does that a lot in our office. He's a little older. He doesn't run a lot of leads and everything. So our boss kind of keeps him close to the house, and that lead will cancel. He'll go over there anyway. He'll go over and sell it.
sounds like you've got a great ops manager there. Who's your ops manager?
Matt Pittman.
He's been the ops manager the whole time?
The entire time since the office opened.
Let me ask you this. I meant to ask you this earlier when I asked you about what's next. Did you have any desire to be an ops manager?
No.
Okay. Ever? Since you've worked in the 7 years, you never had a desire to be an ops manager?
I want to work. No.
Okay.
No.
Why is
I did maybe for a couple of months.
Okay. Just in the beginning?
After about 2 years.
Okay.
And then I was like, I didn't want to be under the thumb.
Yeah.
I want to work for me.
Yep.
My mother told me one time, I can't believe you can go to work and not know how much money you're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Mom, I can't believe you still go to work and know exactly what you're going to make.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time to people. They're like, I could never do sales because I can't. I have to have a consistent paycheck. And I said, I can never do what you do because even my bad months are better than your good months. So, all right, guys.
Thanks.
Well, any last words, Daniel? It's 9 o'clock. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, be confident. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be the baddest motherfucker in the room.
Big dick energy.
Hey, And I tell people this: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So, yeah, I'll
Love
leave
it.
you with that.
First
Thanks
of
for
all,
your time,
guys,
man.
yeah, Daniel, thank you very much for being here. And to the two guys that asked questions, there's a reason why Daniel, Glover, I think is his last name, was the number one
Grover,
rep.
like the Sesame Street guy.
Grover, my bad, sorry. Was the number one rep in Aho Seamless Gutters, and he asked a question. The other guys didn't ask questions. Anthony didn't ask questions. So like guys, the top guys in this room right now asked questions. So I want to applaud you guys for doing that. For the other guys, I don't know if you were just scared or afraid of sounding stupid. I asked a lot of stupid questions, but it's one of those things where if you don't ask, closed mouths don't get fed. And anyways, Daniel, you reached out to me. I appreciate that. Again, closed mouths don't get fed. Anyways, we'll talk more. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Eat what